Daniel pressed himself against the wall, chest heaving, rainwater dripping from his hair onto the cracked concrete floor. The small building he had slipped into offered temporary shelter, but the shadows that followed him had not paused. They lingered just outside the windows, coiling like smoke, glowing eyes blinking in rhythm with his pulse. He clutched the envelope tighter, realizing that it was no longer a simple token of temptation. It was the key, the tether, the link between him and the Whisperer's twisted game. He didn't understand how or why, but every instinct screamed that losing it, even for a second, could be fatal. A soft hiss echoed from the corner of the room. Daniel turned sharply. There, slithering along the walls, were remnants of the shadows from the alley, twisting, writhing, pulsing as if alive. They paused, almost expectantly, as though waiting for a command. "Daniel," the Whisperer's voice slithered through the darkness, smooth and omnipresent. "Do you see now? Every choice, every step, every breath is mine to watch. But the real question is, will you endure the consequences?" Daniel swallowed hard. "Consequences of what? What do you want from me?" The shadows surged closer. Tendrils licked at the floor, brushing his boots. Daniel's heart thundered. I want to survive." The Whisperer chuckled softly. "Survival is only the beginning. Endurance, patience, cunning, that is where the game truly begins. And you, Daniel, have barely scratched the surface." A sudden movement made him spin. A tendril had darted out, brushing the envelope from his hands. It hovered above the floor, twisting, glowing faintly as if mocking him. Daniel lunged, fingers grasping at it. The shadows recoiled with a hiss, but Daniel clutched the envelope to his chest once more. Pain flared along his arm, sharp, but fleeting. The Whisperer's voice flowed around him, calm yet commanding. "You see, Daniel, the envelope is a symbol. But the real test is your mind. Your courage, your willingness to act without knowing the outcome." Daniel's mind raced. Everything he had endured, the apartment, the stairwell, the city, the first chase, had led to this moment. The game was no longer about survival. It was about decision. About who he was willing to become. Then the shadows parted slightly, revealing a shape. Human, yet impossibly tall, coat dark as the void, eyes glowing with unreadable intent. The Whisperer stepped forward, closer, the darkness bending around him like liquid smoke. "You think you understand now," the Whisperer said, "but the rules are only half known. Every choice you've made, every escape, has led you to this. And now, the consequences arrive." Daniel's stomach twisted. He realized instinctively what was coming, the results of the first confrontation, the alley, the chase. Not just tests, but warnings. The city, the shadows, the envelope, all part of a larger puzzle he had yet to comprehend. A soft click echoed from behind him. He spun. Another figure, smaller, shadowy, emerged from the doorway. Eyes glinting green, almost mischievous, it circled him, silent and deliberate. Daniel's breath caught. The Whisperer's voice murmured again, "That, Daniel, is one consequence. The first ripple from your first choice. And it will not be the last." Daniel's mind raced. The envelope pressed against his chest, heartbeat sinking with the pulsing shadows around him. Every instinct screamed to flee, to hide, to fight. But he realized with dawning horror, running was no longer an option. "You understand," the Whisperer said, voice soft but sharp, "that survival alone will not save you. Every choice shapes the path. Every hesitation feeds the shadows. And your next decision may very well define who you become." Daniel's hands shook. He realized the truth, he was not merely a player in a game of survival. He was a pawn in a far larger scheme, one that extended beyond the apartment, the alley, even the distorted city streets. He didn't yet know the scope, but he knew instinctively it was vast, intricate, and deadly. A sudden gust of wind blew through the broken windows, scattering debris across the floor. The shadows surged, almost tasting the fear in Daniel's eyes. He pressed the envelope tighter. He could not let go. He would not. Then, the Whisperer stepped fully into the light, or the semblance of light in this twisted cityscape. His eyes glinted like obsidian. "Look closely, Daniel, the first consequence is only a hint. The real game begins when you understand the cost." Daniel's pulse quickened. He had glimpsed it, the truth hidden behind the veil of shadows. The game was about temptation, yes, but also about transformation. Every choice was a test. Every survival, a step toward a purpose he could not yet see. He realized, he had survived the apartment. He had survived the alley. He had survived the shadows. But the Whisperer's plan, the deeper game, was only revealing itself now. And the first confrontation had consequences far beyond anything he had imagined. Cliffhanger ending. From the corner of the room, a new shadow slithered forward. Taller, darker, eyes glinting like molten gold. It moved with intent, deliberate, almost patient. The Whisperer's voice echoed around Daniel, everywhere and nowhere. "Daniel, the first choice has consequences. Step forward, or be consumed entirely." Daniel's fingers clenched the envelope. His heart thundered. He realized the terrifying truth: the game was not just about survival, it was about who he would become in the shadows. Daniel pressed himself against the wall of the abandoned building, chest heaving, every nerve on fire. The envelope was still clutched tightly in his hands, as if it alone kept him tethered to some thread of sanity. Outside, the city hummed strangely. Neon signs flickered in unnatural patterns, streets twisted, and shadows moved as if alive. He had survived attacks, escapes, and confrontations. But now, something in the air felt different. A weight, a shift, an unseen force pressing against him. Every instinct screamed, something is about to change. The Whisperer's voice arrived without warning, smooth, omnipresent, chilling. "Daniel, it is time you see the truth. The choice you made at the alley, the first escape, it was never just about survival. It was about potential." Daniel's mind spun. "Potential? What do you mean?" "Potential," the Whisperer repeated, voice almost musical. "Potential to see beyond the veil. Potential to face what most cannot even comprehend. You are no ordinary player, Daniel. You are different." Daniel's pulse quickened. "Different? I'm just trying to survive." "Ah," the Whisperer said softly, stepping from the shadows. His coat seemed to absorb the dim light, eyes glowing faintly, reflecting every fear and hope in Daniel's mind. "Survival is the first step. But you, Daniel, you have the capacity for something far greater. And the game is designed to awaken it." Daniel's hands shook. The envelope seemed to pulse, almost alive, as if resonating with the Whisperer's words. He realized then that the money, the letters, even the first confrontations, were a preparation, a test, not of courage alone, but of mind and soul. "Test of mind and soul?" Daniel echoed. "I don't understand. Why me?" The Whisperer's eyes glinted. "Because you chose. You saw the envelope, you acted, you stepped into the shadows willingly. That willingness, that spark, it marks you. Most flee. Most fall. But you are willing to face the unknown." Daniel's mind raced. It all made a strange kind of sense. The shadows, the city, the impossible escapes, they were not random. They were lessons, calibrations, shaping him, testing him, preparing him. A faint movement from the corner made him flinch. A new shadow emerged, taller, darker, eyes glowing with molten gold. It moved with deliberate intent, circling him, watching. This is a consequence?" Daniel asked. "Yes," the whisperer replied, voice flowing from every direction. "Every step, every choice, has consequences. Some immediate, some delayed. The first confrontation, the alley, the envelope, each revealed something about you. Strength. Instinct. Cunning. Courage. And now, the true challenge begins." Daniel's breath caught. The city outside seemed to pulse, twisting in ways that defied logic. Streets folded back on themselves. Shadows stretched along walls that had no corners. He realized then that the Whisperer's game was not confined to a building, or even the alleyways, it extended into the very fabric of reality itself. "Reality?" Daniel whispered. "You mean, all this, it's not real?" The Whisperer's smile was slow, deliberate. "Real enough to matter. Real enough to test. Real enough to transform. What you see, what you feel, it is the crucible. And you, Daniel, are in it." Daniel swallowed hard. He realized that the stakes were far beyond money, fear, or even survival. This was a test of his very self, of his mind, of his choices. Every decision he made from this point forward would ripple outward, shaping not only his fate but the game itself. A faint flicker caught his eye, a small reflection in a broken window. He saw himself, clutching the envelope, face pale, eyes wide, heart racing. And then he noticed something more, the shadows were behind him, not attacking, but observing. They were learning, cataloging, waiting. "Why me?" he whispered again, voice trembling. "Because you are capable," the whisperer said. "Capable of choice. Capable of courage. Capable of understanding consequences that would break others. And because, the true game cannot begin until one understands the first truth, everything is a choice. Everything is a test. And everything has a price." Daniel pressed the envelope tighter. His mind reeled, trying to comprehend the scope of what the whisperer had revealed. He was not just surviving. He was being forged, tested, and pushed towards something unknown. A sudden chill ran through the room. Shadows surged closer, writhing, twisting. Daniel's breath caught. He realized with dawning horror that the consequences of his first choices were not done. Then the whisperer's voice, softer, almost intimate, whispered, "And now, Daniel, you must make your next choice. One step forward, or remain where you are and be consumed by what you do not yet understand." Daniel's heart thundered. He had no weapon. No ally. Only the envelope and his courage. But he understood now, the stakes were far higher than he had imagined. Every decision, every hesitation, every fear would shape what came next. Cliffhanger ending. A soft glow emerged from the envelope. The shadows recoiled slightly, as if reacting to it. Daniel's fingers trembled. The whisperer's voice echoed one last time, omnipresent, chilling. "Daniel, choose wisely. Because once you step forward, the truth will no longer be hidden, and the game will change forever." Daniel's eyes widened. He realized the terrifying reality, the revelation was only the beginning, and the true challenge was waiting beyond the choice he had yet to make. The rain had stopped. The city glimmered under a fractured moonlight, streets slick with wet reflections that distorted every familiar corner. Daniel ran, feet pounding the pavement, heart hammering like a drum in his chest. For the first time since the Whisperer's game had begun, he felt a sliver of control. The envelope pressed against his chest. It pulsed faintly, almost alive. Every step he took seemed to echo in the silent city. He glanced back. Shadows twisted and writhed along the edges of the streets, but they did not pursue immediately. For the first time, Daniel realized something: he could manipulate the shadows, guide them, anticipate them. The faint light from the envelope, the sequence of patterns he had followed in the alley, they were not just tests. They were tools. And he had learned, slowly, how to use them. "Focus, Daniel," he muttered to himself. "One step at a time. One move ahead. You can do this." The whisperer's voice echoed, soft but omnipresent, like it was inside his skull. "Well done, Daniel. You survive. You adapt. You learn. But do not mistake survival for mastery. The game is far from over." Daniel gritted his teeth. "I don't care about mastery. I care about freedom. Freedom." The word felt heavy. Unreal. Yet something inside him burned, a desire, a spark that had survived every chase, every attack, every choice. Ahead, the street split. To the left, an open plaza stretched, empty but filled with long shadows. To the right, a narrow bridge over a dark canal, flickering lights guiding the way. Daniel knew instinctively, the bridge was the safer path. The shadows would follow the plaza, giving him a chance to escape. He ran toward the bridge. His muscles screamed, lungs burning, every nerve alert. Shadows surged behind him, long tendrils stretching across the street, reaching, probing, testing. But Daniel had learned. He stepped in rhythm with the light, anticipating their strikes. He ducked, rolled, sprinted. A faint glow emanated from the envelope, illuminating the way. He realized with a jolt, it was responding to his choices, guiding him, amplifying his instinct. Every instinctive decision now became sharper, more precise. The whisperer's voice came again, calm, deliberate. "You adapt, Daniel. You learn quickly. But understand this, every tool, every advantage, comes at a cost. Every choice has consequences." Daniel's heart raced. He pushed forward, leaping onto the bridge. The shadows recoiled slightly, twisting in frustration. He could see the other side, streets twisting into safety, buildings reflecting pale moonlight, no immediate threat in sight. He had done it. He had escaped, at least partially. For the first time, he felt control, even if fleeting. But then, movement at the far end of the bridge caught his eye. A figure emerged from the shadows, human in form, impossibly tall, coat dark as the void, eyes glowing faintly red. The Whisperer. "You think this victory is complete?" the voice whispered, omnipresent, chilling. "You've survived one sequence, one test. But the real game begins now." Daniel's pulse spiked. "Then I'll face it," he muttered, gripping the envelope tighter. "I have to." The shadows began to twist again, coiling around the bridge like living smoke. Daniel felt the pull, the pressure, the weight of the city itself. Every instinct screamed, fight. Run. Survive. The Whisperer stepped forward. "You have learned to manipulate shadows, to anticipate the sequences. Clever. Resourceful. But cleverness alone will not save you. Courage, cunning, sacrifice, these will be demanded." Daniel realized the truth. The envelope, the light, the patterns, they were only the first layer. The game had deeper rules, invisible threads connecting every choice, every movement, every heartbeat. The Whisperer was not just testing him. He was shaping him. Daniel took a deep breath. He felt a surge of confidence. He had survived the apartment. He had navigated the alley. He had escaped the plaza. And now, standing on the bridge, with the city stretching endlessly in front of him, he understood, he was capable of more than survival. He could fight back, even in a world designed to trap him. A faint glow pulsed from the envelope. Shadows recoiled slightly. Daniel realized then, he was learning to bend the game to his will, to use the Whisperer's own rules as leverage. But before he could act further, a sudden crash echoed from the bridge railing. Shadows surged upward, twisting, reaching. The Whisperer's voice whispered, closer than before. Enjoy your victory, Daniel, because the first true trial is coming. And the cost will be higher than you can imagine. Cliffhanger ending. Daniel's breath caught. From the depths below the bridge, faint green lights shimmered, rising, forming shapes, figures, shadows, creatures. His pulse spiked. He realized with terror, his first victory was only temporary, the real test was about to begin. The Whisperer's chilling laugh echoed across the water. Step forward, Daniel, or be swallowed by what waits. The wind howled across the bridge, carrying a chill that cut through Daniel's soaked clothes and gripped his bones. Below, the water shimmered darkly, reflecting fractured neon lights from the city. Every step he took echoed like a warning, a signal that the next challenge awaited him. He tightened his grip on the envelope. Every pulse of light from it felt like a heartbeat, guiding him, warning him, pushing him forward. He had survived the apartment, the alley, the city, and even his first escape. But instinct screamed that this encounter, would not allow mistakes. From the shadows ahead, a figure emerged. Taller than any human, coat dark as night, eyes blazing crimson. Its presence alone seemed to warp the air, bending the faint glow of streetlights into unnatural angles. Daniel froze. This was not just a shadow. This was the Whisperer's true enforcer, the first major trial, a test of every lesson he had learned. The Whisperer's voice flowed around him, calm and terrifying, "Meet your first challenge, Daniel. The shadow of the Whisperer. Only by facing it, will you learn the depth of the game." Daniel's pulse thundered. The figure stepped closer, moving with an unnatural grace, each step silent but ominous. Shadows writhed along its limbs, flickering with molten red and green light. Its eyes locked onto Daniel's, piercing through his fear. He remembered the envelope. The patterns, the light, the lessons. He had learned to anticipate, to bend the shadows to some extent. But this was something else entirely. It didn't just follow rules, it created them. The shadow lunged. Its movement was impossibly fast. Daniel barely had time to react, diving to the side as the tendrils whipped past him, scraping against the railing. Pain flared along his shoulder, but he rolled, gripping the envelope tightly, letting instinct guide him. "You are quick," the Whisperer murmured, voice everywhere and nowhere. "But speed alone will not save you. Focus, Daniel. Control. Mastery." Daniel's mind raced. He remembered the alley, the bridge, the light sequences. He needed a pattern, a rhythm, something to anticipate the shadow's moves. He inhaled sharply, letting the faint pulse of the envelope guide his movements. Step, duck, roll, dodge. Each movement precise, each decision deliberate. The shadow struck again. This time, Daniel was ready. He twisted, letting the tendrils brush past him without giving them purchase. He moved in rhythm with the glow of the envelope. Every step he took seemed to sync with the shadows, bending them subtly, anticipating their strikes. "You are learning," the Whisperer's voice said, approving. "But this is only the beginning. To win, Daniel, you must risk everything." A sudden crack of lightning illuminated the bridge. The shadow froze for a heartbeat, revealing its form fully, tall, impossibly lean, its coat flowing like liquid darkness, eyes blazing with unearthly intelligence. It didn't just attack, it studied, predicting, calculating, probing for weaknesses. Daniel realized something terrifying: the shadow was not a mindless creature. It was part of the Whisperer, an extension of his will. Every strike it made, every move it attempted, was designed to push Daniel, break him, test his decisions. Heart hammering, Daniel forced himself to focus. He remembered every lesson, the sequences, the patterns, the pulse of the envelope. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, not running, not hesitating. He moved with confidence, forcing the shadow to respond, to follow, to reveal its rhythm. A tendril lashed out, grazing his arm. Pain flared, but he adjusted, twisting, ducking, striking a balance between offense and defense. Slowly, imperceptibly, he began to control the encounter, anticipating the shadow's movements, bending the game to his will. "You are clever," the Whisperer's voice intoned, calm and deadly. "But cleverness alone will not grant victory. Courage. Will. Sacrifice." Daniel gritted his teeth. He realized he had a choice: fight cautiously and survive, or risk everything to force a breakthrough. The shadow's eyes glinted, reading his intentions, predicting his hesitation. He leapt. Envelope in hand, he struck, not physically, but using the pulse of light to manipulate the shadows around him. Tendrils recoiled, twisting, writhing, as the glow expanded, momentarily illuminating the bridge with an intense white light. The shadow staggered back. For the first time, Daniel realized he could influence the shadow, bend it, even if just briefly. A surge of confidence flowed through him. He was not just surviving. He was adapting. He was beginning to fight back. But the Whisperer's voice cut through the storm, chilling and omnipresent. "Well done, but every victory has its price, Daniel. And the cost is coming." Cliffhanger ending. The shadow lunged one final time, faster, sharper, more precise. Daniel's pulse quickened, eyes wide, envelope pressed to his chest. Then, from the shadows behind him, a new figure emerged, taller, darker, eyes glowing gold. Not part of the shadow, but something far worse. The Whisperer's true intention, revealed in silhouette. The voice echoed, everywhere and nowhere. "Step forward, Daniel, or be consumed entirely. This is the choice that will define you." Daniel's heart thundered. He realized with horror, his first victory was only temporary, and the real enemy, the true trial, had just appeared. The bridge was silent now, save for the distant hum of the city and the faint drip of water from the broken streetlights. Daniel leaned against the railing, chest heaving, mind racing. The shadow had retreated, at least temporarily, but the encounter left him trembling. Every nerve in his body screamed in pain, exhaustion, and adrenaline. The envelope, still clutched tightly, pulsed faintly, its glow a reminder, a lifeline, a warning. Daniel understood now, the object was more than money. It was a guide, a key, a connection to the rules of the Whisperer's game. But it was also a responsibility. One wrong move could trigger consequences far beyond anything he had imagined. He closed his eyes, trying to steady himself. The Whisperer's voice drifted softly through the night, omnipresent, calm, and chilling. "Do you feel it, Daniel? The weight of your choices? The first confrontation, it was only a lesson. But every lesson has its consequence. Every choice ripples beyond what you see." Daniel's mind spun. Lesson. Consequence. I survived. "You survived, yes," the Whisperer murmured. "But survival alone is not enough. You are learning, adapting, growing. That growth, that potential, is exactly why the game must continue. And why the true stakes are only now revealing themselves." Daniel opened his eyes. The city stretched before him like a fractured maze, streets twisting, lights flickering in patterns he could barely comprehend. Shadows lingered at the edges, not attacking, not moving too close, but observing, patient, alive. What are the stakes?" Daniel whispered, almost to himself. The Whisperer's voice softened, almost intimate. "Stakes, Daniel, are not measured in survival alone. They are measured in choice. In courage. In the willingness to act when all else is uncertain. And now, the game expands. The first victory, the first escape, those were minor victories. The true trials will test your mind, your body, your soul." Daniel swallowed hard. He realized something terrifying. the shadow he had just faced was not the real trial. It was a preparation, a probe, a warning. The Whisperer's plan was deeper, more intricate, and far more dangerous than he could yet grasp. He glanced at the envelope. Its glow pulsed faintly, synchronizing with his heartbeat. Somehow, it felt alive. It responded to him, to his choices, to his courage. But even its guidance had limits. The real challenge, he realized, lay beyond what the envelope could illuminate. Then, movement at the far end of the bridge caught his attention. Another figure, taller, darker, eyes glowing gold, emerged from the shadows. Daniel's breath caught. He knew instantly, this was not part of the previous encounter. This was something new, something worse. The Whisperer's voice flowed around him, omnipresent, chilling. The shadow was only the beginning. The gold-eyed watcher, it is a glimpse of what awaits. Every victory comes with a price, Daniel. Every choice, a consequence. And the path you take now, will define who you become. Daniel's mind raced. He had survived the apartment, the alley, the bridge, the shadow. He had adapted, learned patterns, bent the shadows to his will, but this was something beyond him. Something that threatened not just his life, but his very being. A chill ran down his spine. He understood, the Whisperer's game was not a series of isolated tests. It was a continuum, a sequence, a complex network of choices, each leading inexorably to the next. The stakes were not merely survival, but transformation. Every decision could reshape him, push him beyond what he thought possible, or destroy him entirely. The Whisperer's voice softened, almost teasing. And now, Daniel, you must decide. Do you advance, knowing the risks? Or do you retreat, and accept that the game will claim what you leave behind? Daniel's hands shook. The envelope pulsed once more. The city stretched endlessly before him, streets twisting. Shadows alive, light flickering in unnatural patterns. The gold-eyed figure waited silently at the edge of his vision, patient, observant, a harbinger of trials yet to come. He realized then that his first victory, the escape across the bridge, the manipulation of the shadow, was only temporary. The real game, the true test, was just beginning. And the Whisperer's plan, whatever it was, it had only partially revealed itself. Cliffhanger ending. From the shadows behind him, a low hum rose, vibrating through the bridge, through the city, through the night itself. The envelope pulsed brighter. Daniel's pulse quickened. The Whisperer's voice echoed everywhere, soft, omnipresent, chilling. Daniel, the path forward is yours. But remember, every step, every choice, every heartbeat, will carry consequences you cannot yet imagine. Daniel's eyes widened as the gold-eyed figure stepped closer, its presence warping the air, the light, the very ground beneath him. And in that moment, Daniel understood a terrifying truth: his journey was no longer about survival alone. The true stakes were about becoming something, or losing everything. Daniel stood on the bridge, chest heaving, eyes fixed on the gold-eyed figure that seemed to float in the shadows. The city stretched infinitely around him, twisted streets, fractured lights, shadows writhing along the walls, as if the entire world were alive and watching. Every instinct screamed, run. Hide. Survive. But he couldn't. He had learned too much. He had survived too many impossible trials to retreat now. The envelope pulsed faintly in his hands, as if sensing the gravity of the moment. Daniel realized then that it was more than a guide, it was a key, a connection to the Whisperer's mysterious network, a way to interact with the rules of the game itself. The Whisperer's voice slithered through the shadows, calm, omnipresent, and chilling. Daniel, you have come far. Survived much. Learned, adapted, endured. But now, it is time you understand a fragment of the truth. Daniel's pulse quickened. Truth? What do you mean? What are you? The shadows shifted, coiling around the gold-eyed figure, enhancing its presence. Slowly, deliberately, the figure stepped closer. The air itself seemed to warp around it, bending light, stretching the city, reshaping reality. The Whisperer's voice came, not from the shadows now, but from the figure itself. I am not merely a player of games, Daniel. I am the architect. The observer. The one who shapes the trials that define choices. And the envelope you carry, is my instrument. My link to those who can see beyond the veil. Daniel's mind raced. Instrument? Veil? I don't understand. The Whisperer's voice softened, almost intimate, yet sharp with authority. You see the world differently. You perceive patterns, sequences, possibilities others cannot. That is why you were chosen. The envelope, your first confrontations, the shadows, all tests, designed to awaken that potential. And now, you are on the edge of understanding something far larger than survival. A shiver ran down Daniel's spine. Chosen? By you? For what? The Whisperer paused. Shadows around the bridge twisted, forming shapes, almost symbols, glowing faintly with colors that burned Daniel's vision. For a role in the continuum, Daniel. The game you play is not a game of chance. It is a crucible. And you are being prepared for a path that few can endure. A path where choices carry consequences not just for you, but for everything connected to the sequence. Daniel's grip on the envelope tightened. Sequence. Consequences. Everything. The Whisperer's figure leaned closer, eyes glowing brighter. Yes. Every decision, every action, every hesitation you have taken, has been observed, measured, and accounted for. And the truth is that the game does not end with victory or escape. It ends with transformation. You are being shaped, Daniel, into something beyond ordinary limits. And the cost is steep. Daniel's head spun. His mind reeled with the scale of what he was being told. This wasn't just survival. This wasn't just a series of challenges. This was an awakening, a trial, a forcing of his mind and body into something extraordinary. The Whisperer's voice continued, soft but overwhelming. Understand this, what you have seen, what you have survived, it was only the beginning. The first confrontations, the alley, the shadow, all of it was preparation. And now, the true challenge approaches. The decisions you make next, will define who you are, and who you will become. Daniel's pulse thundered in his ears. He looked at the envelope. The faint glow seemed to respond to the intensity of his fear, his determination, and his focus. Somehow, he knew it was the bridge between himself and the Whisperer's world, the key to survival, adaptation, and possibly mastery. But then, from behind him, a subtle movement caught his eye. Shadows coiled, forming a new figure, taller, darker, eyes like molten gold, more intense than anything Daniel had faced before. He realized instantly, this was the next layer of the game. A trial that would push him far beyond what he had experienced. The Whisperer's voice echoed one last time, omnipresent, chilling. Daniel, understand the secret I reveal today is only partial. The full truth is beyond comprehension. But you must proceed, for hesitation now, may cost you everything. Cliffhanger ending. Daniel's fingers clenched the envelope. The glow intensified, casting long shadows that seemed alive, moving with intent. The gold-eyed figure stepped forward, bridging the space between them, every motion deliberate, every gaze piercing. The Whisperer's voice whispered from everywhere and nowhere. Step forward, Daniel, embrace the path you were chosen for, or remain in ignorance, and be consumed by what waits. Daniel's heart thundered. His mind raced. He understood a terrifying truth, the secret he had glimpsed was only a fraction, and the real trial, the one that would define everything, was looming, closer than ever. The city was unrecognizable. Streets bent unnaturally, buildings twisted impossibly, neon lights flickering with a strange pulse. Shadows writhed along every corner, alive, watching, waiting. Daniel stood at the edge of the largest chasm he had ever encountered, a wide, glowing abyss stretching into nothingness. Beyond it, the Whisperer awaited, standing on a floating platform of dark energy, eyes blazing red and gold, coat flowing like liquid shadow. The envelope pulsed in his hands, its glow illuminating the immediate area with a soft, white light. It had guided him through impossible trials, taught him patterns, revealed choices, but now, Daniel realized, it was also a weapon. A connection. A key. The Whisperer's voice reverberated across the abyss, omnipresent, chilling. Daniel, you have survived, adapted, and learned. But now, the final trial begins. Everything you have done, every choice, leads to this moment. Step forward wisely, for what awaits is not only your test, but your transformation. Daniel's pulse thundered. He stepped closer to the edge, heart hammering. He thought of the apartment, the alley, the shadow, the gold-eyed figure, every lesson, every consequence. He realized the truth, the Whisperer's game had never been about survival alone. It had been about awakening potential, forcing him to see beyond the veil, to confront the impossible, and to choose who he would become. Why me? Daniel whispered, voice shaking. Why all of this? The Whisperer's eyes gleamed. Because you can see. Because you can choose. Because you are capable of understanding consequences that others would fear. And because, only those who embrace the path can transcend it. From the shadows behind him, tendrils surged, forming shapes of every trial he had faced, the apartment, the alley, the bridge, the shadow, the gold-eyed watcher. They writhed, alive, glowing faintly, reflecting every fear, every victory, every choice he had made. Daniel's fingers clenched the envelope tighter. The glow intensified, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. He realized now that the envelope responded to his courage, his clarity, his will. It was not just guidance, it was an extension of him. The Whisperer stepped closer, shadows bending around him like water. The secret, Daniel, is this: the game is infinite. It is not bound by walls, streets, or even cities. Every choice, every decision, every act of courage or hesitation, ripples through the continuum. And you are now part of it. The envelope, your journey, your victories, they are all threads in a larger design. One that you are meant to weave further. Daniel's mind reeled. The Whisperer's plan was staggering, incomprehensible. He had been tested, pushed, broken, and shaped, not merely for survival, but to join a system, a network, a continuum of awareness and choice beyond ordinary comprehension. The abyss shimmered, pulsing, alive. Daniel understood, to step forward meant risk. To hesitate meant annihilation. To retreat meant becoming part of the shadows. He had no choice but to act. He inhaled sharply, heart pounding, and stepped onto the glowing bridge that arched across the abyss. Shadows lashed out, tendrils twisting, but he was ready. He moved in rhythm with the envelope's pulse, each step precise, each movement deliberate. The Whisperer's voice echoed, approving yet chilling, yes, embrace the trial. Use what you have learned. Let courage guide you. Let choice define you. Daniel reached the center of the bridge. The Whisperer's shadow coalesced, forming a towering figure of pure darkness and light intertwined, eyes glowing in molten hues. It spoke, voice deep, resonant. Your victories have been fleeting. Your lessons, partial. Now, prove yourself, Daniel. Choose what you are willing to become, and what you are willing to sacrifice. Daniel realized the full scope of the trial. It was not merely combat, not merely survival. It was decision and transformation. The envelope glowed brightly, tendrils of light stretching outward, weaving with the shadows around him. He understood, to survive, he had to confront his fear, his doubts, and commit entirely to a choice. He raised the envelope, letting its light expand, harmonizing with the shadows, bending them, shaping them. The Whisperer recoiled slightly, impressed. Yes, you begin to understand. But remember, every action has cost, every triumph, consequence. Daniel focused, willing the shadows to part, willing the light to bind, willing himself to transcend. And in that moment, he felt a surge, power, clarity, courage, all of it converging. He stepped forward, across the abyss, the glow from the envelope stretching infinitely, illuminating paths, patterns, possibilities. The Whisperer's eyes widened, a flicker of respect, perhaps even awe, breaking his calm. You have learned well. You have chosen wisely. But this is not the end, Daniel. The continuum, the game, it never ends. It only evolves. And now, you are part of it. Cliffhanger/teaser ending. As Daniel reached the platform where the Whisperer had stood, the city around them shifted violently. Streets and buildings twisted, shadows pulsed, the abyss shimmered like liquid darkness. The envelope's light flared, revealing glimpses of countless other choices, other players, other trials, a network of infinity beyond comprehension. The Whisperer's voice echoed one final time, soft and terrifying. Step fully into the path, Daniel, or remain forever at the edge. The continuum awaits, and your next trial is only beginning. Daniel's heart thundered. He understood the terrifying and exhilarating truth. He had survived, he had won, but the real journey, the infinite game, the secrets of the continuum, was only now unfolding. The envelope pulsed brighter than ever, the city twisted, shadows alive, and Daniel took his first true step into the unknown.